Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Puma RS-Dreamer. So this is J. Cole's signature shoe with Puma, and just first impressions or just like looking at it, this is a great looking shoe. The designer did a great job, and I love what Puma is doing with the performance basketball shoes, where it's like it doesn't really look like a ball shoe, and you can definitely rock this off court. Like for me personally, like if it looks too basketball-y, I don't really like rocking it casually. But then like this shoe, like it looks like a casual shoe, and this shoe is going for 125 bucks. So I guess it's like around mid-tier pricing. So if you guys do want to get it, I'll try to leave a link in the description box, but most of the colorways are sold out basically everywhere, like puma.com, and I believe like Finish Line or East Bay had them as well, but they all sold out. So if they are available, I'll try to leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the traction. So for the traction here in this colorway, I guess it's like semi-translucent with like a 95% opacity. To me, it looks like a leaf pattern. Like it looks like a giant leaf, and you have this like stem or spine going down the middle of the outsole. And the rubber is super hard. The grooves are deep, and as far as durability goes, there really aren't any issues, right? So I was playing outdoors, and the rubber is looking pretty damn good, besides I guess here where the ball of my foot is. And I don't know why they decided to do this, but the grooves are a little bit thinner here. It kind of comes out into a pointed shape. If you look at the actual outsole like in the middle of the shoe, but then once you get here to like basically the outsole curvature, it gets a little bit thinner, and then it kind of rips off, right? And I guess I just do I put a lot of force right here, so it is ripping off on both pairs. I guess my left pair is a little bit worse, but other than that, I mean, everything else seems pretty damn good. So durability is actually pretty nice, besides I guess right here, but it's also like not that bad. And also Puma specifies like in the product description that this is high abrasion rubber, so you really don't have to worry. Like if you're playing on outdoor court, you should be good to go. Also, they have this like outsole curvature, kind of like Kyrie's, it's not as prominent as Kyrie's, but you definitely get this feeling of like the shoes keeping you on the ball of your feet a little bit, like if you're doing these types of movements like crossovers, step backs and stuff. So that's really nice. And the outsole comes up a good amount here into the medial side of the shoe, so you have extra grip as well. So that's a nice added touch, and the grip is insane. And not only on my wood floors, when I tried it out here, it seemed to have a really good bite, had a little bit of squeak. But also on an outdoor court, it had a great bite, right? Like some of the shoes that I was playing in, like for example, like the LeBron Soldier 14, like the Soldier 14 has a pretty good bite, but sometimes like it would slip out, like especially when I was doing a really hard lateral movement. I had no problems ever at all with the RS-Dreamer, so the traction is really nice. And also shout out to the Soul Squad. For some reason, I have no indoor courts available to me here, like in the 805 area where I live, which is definitely a bummer. I'm sorry about that, guys. I really do want to play indoors again. I'm pretty sick of playing outdoors, especially because of the cushion and my feet, and I'm getting older, but I haven't been able to find anything. But thanks to you guys, I actually am getting some feedback, and I got a few DMs from you guys saying the RS-Dreamer actually has good traction, or like really good traction on an indoor court. So I'm taking your word for it. I'm just telling everybody else, but that's what some of you guys said. So the traction is definitely a strong point for this shoe. All right, moving on to the heel to toe transition is pretty damn smooth. You have a nice curved shape here in the heel, as well as in the forefoot, so you get a nice rocking motion. The shoe kind of keeps you on your toes, so that feels really nice, especially when you're running down the court. The flex here in the forefoot isn't as flexy. It takes a little bit of strength to flex the forefoot, but with your weight going into the shoe, it bends a little bit more, and it's actually not that bad. So heel to toe transition is overall pretty smooth. All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. So they're using a Pro Foam midsole with RS cushion here in the heel, right? And I'm guessing the RS cushion is like this cushion here on the bottom of the heel where you have like squares on it, because that's a little bit different, and also feels a little bit different from this cushion right here. And I'm guessing this is the Pro Foam, and the Pro Foam in the Clyde hardwood was heavily caged. In the RS-Dreamer, it's actually like fully exposed here, especially here on the lateral side, right? And it comes up a lot. So when you first look at the shoe, you're like, oh damn, like the cushioning looks insane. It looks very thick, right? And that's actually not the case. Your foot is actually resting probably around like half way down here into the midsole. The rest of the midsole is basically acting as a sidewall, so you get a little bit more support, especially on lateral movements, which we'll get into. So the court feel is actually really nice. You feel really low to the ground, especially here in the forefoot. And the cushioning is not nice really at all. The impact protection was really bad. And I was playing on the outdoor court, right? So if you're playing on the indoor court, obviously it'll be a little bit better. But yeah, like my feet hurt. Like when I was doing hard impact landings, especially heel strikes, my feet would hurt really bad. My knees would ache a little bit too after playing like an hour or two, right? So impact protection is definitely not a strong point in this shoe. And I thought it was going to be like pretty damn nice, but it's actually not. One good thing about the shoe though is the insole. Like when you first get it, the insole is very plush. It has like a memory foam type of feel to it, so the underfoot cushioning is very comfortable. You know, like all insoles do bottom out, and right now it's not as nice. I mean, I would say it's definitely still nicer than like some stock Ortholite insoles that you get in some shoes, but it does bottom out, so just watch out for that. And the only thing that the cushion has going for it, or I guess there's two things, is that it's responsive and I guess low to the ground. Right, impact protection is not good. There's really no compression like at all, and there's really no bounce from the cushioning setup, so it's pretty disappointing. I mean, obviously if you want something responsive and you want to feel quick in your shoes, you don't want to have like a lot of lag, or you don't want to feel slow, then this is a great option. But if you're looking for cushion, stay away from this shoe. Alright, moving on to the materials. So Puma is saying this is a knit material, and I guess I would agree, but it seems a little like plasticky, or like they fuse the individual like strands of fabric. Like this material is broken in, but it still feels a little flimsy. And it's definitely softer than it was at first, but I wouldn't say it's as nice as the Puma Clyde hardwood, right? The Puma Clyde hardwood was a great knit. It didn't feel glued down at all. It didn't feel flimsy. It was very soft and cozy and comfortable on foot. And I'm not saying the RS-Dreamer is terrible or anything, because it's actually pretty nice, especially on foot. But I feel like they could have done a little bit better, you know, like they did in the Clyde hardwood. But you know, it's thin, it conforms to your foot pretty well, and you do have some like cheaper materials for overlays here in the forefoot as well as here on the medial side. So obviously if you're looking for quality, this isn't the best quality material that you can get on a shoe, especially for 125 bucks. I guess 125 bucks, you can't really complain about this quality, right? But overall, it gets the job done. I also do like the tongue. The tongue isn't like super well padded. I would say it's like average padding. So the materials were overall pretty nice. All right, moving on to the fit. So I went true to size, and it runs just a tiny bit long. And that's not a huge deal for me. I don't really mind the extra length because it's not too much. So I would suggest going true to size. I feel like if I went down half a size, it might be a little too snug lengthwise. So just be careful with that. And then here in the toe box area, it's slightly snug. There is just a little bit of dead space, not here, but like kind of where the tip of the toe is. But I feel like that has to do with the extra length. And the dead space in the toe area isn't that bad. It's still pretty snug. And width-wise, I would say it's slightly narrow. So if you have a thick, wide foot, you should probably go up half a size. If you have a skinny, narrow foot and you want a really snug fit, maybe go down half a size, but just be careful on that. But for the most part, I would suggest going true to size. You should be good to go. And the shoe is also pretty easy to put on. You know, the tongue opens up a lot, and you have a little bit of a heel tab, as well as this like pull tab here in the back. You know, you pull this open, you slide your foot in, tighten up the laces, and you're good to go. And also, the tongue is a half booty construction tongue, so the tongue stays in place while you're playing ball, and you get a better overall one-to-one fit. All right, moving on to support and lockdown. Obviously, just by looking at the midsole on the lateral side, you already know lateral containment is never going to be an issue in the shoe, right? So not only here in the heel, but also in the midfoot and here in the forefoot, you guys see how much that comes up. And you also have this synthetic material coming up as well to give you extra added support. So lateral containment was not an issue ever at all. The shoe also is pretty damn wide, right? So it doesn't really have an outrigger, right? The outsole kind of like is flush with the midsole, but the midsole and outsole do protrude out. Right, so you have a low wide base here in the forefoot, so you're not gonna have any issues with lateral instability. And of course, this is a low, so you're not gonna get any type of ankle support or ankle movement restriction. But like I said, it's a low wide base, so you should be good to go. You're gonna feel stable and supported in the shoe. All right, moving on to weight. If I remember correctly, this was pretty heavy, like on the heavier side. Yeah, so 14.57 ounces for the right pair, and on the left, 14.32 ounces. So yeah, that's pretty damn heavy. The average weight of my shoes is like 12.5 ounces. So if anything above like 13.5 to 14 ounces is pretty damn heavy. 14.5 to 15 ounces is really heavy, and that's like on the LeBron's level, you know. So does it feel heavy? It feels pretty heavy, and it feels chunky and a little bulky, right? So I feel like the cushion in the heel, it protrudes out so much, right? And like I don't mind the protrusion like that much because it helps with the compression here in the midsole, but I feel like it's a little too much here in this shoe, and it makes the shoe feel overall like a little chunky here in the heel, and also bottom heavy. Like I said, the material overall is actually pretty damn minimal and pretty damn thin. I wouldn't say it's the most minimal I've ever felt, but it's definitely not a bulky upper, right? So all that weight is coming from the cushioning setup and the outsole, and it definitely feels bottom heavy, and the overall shoe feels kind of heavy and just a little bit bulky. I wouldn't say it's super bulky like the 0.1 or the 0.2 was, and like the traction was good and the cushion was very responsive, and it's a super supportive shoe. So like I felt like pretty fast when I was playing in the shoe, you know, like I didn't really have to worry about it all too much, but it's just like the extra weight and the extra bulk in the shoe where like I didn't really like it all too much. I definitely could have gone without all this, but I think that's a pretty minor thing. It's definitely not something that's a game breaker for me. It's just something that was minor, and I also think like not a lot of you guys will mind it as well. Just watch out for the extra weight and the extra bulk. All right, moving on to the ventilation, that's a no. This shoe is pretty damn hot. Like if you try to blow through the material, there's like absolutely no airflow, right? It's a textile material, so it looks like there would be a good amount of airflow, but there actually isn't. It's not like the material is super thick like I said, but like these overlays don't really help, and like I said, there's really no like airflow through the material, so your foot's gonna be pretty damn hot in this shoe. Alright, as far as the aesthetics go, like I said in the beginning of the video, I absolutely love it, and I would say it's in my favorite top 5 silhouettes right now, like for ball shoes that you can get. And I especially love this colorway, and also like all the colorways that are coming out are pretty damn dope. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, for 125 bucks, this is a solid shoe, right? Just two things I didn't really like were like the weight and the extra bulk, which wasn't a huge deal, and the cushion. I guess the cushioning was pretty bad though. Like, but I was playing on an outdoor court. I feel like it would have been a lot better if I was playing on an indoor court. But still, I mean, like I've been playing in a good amount of shoes like outside, and like out of all the shoes that I've been playing in recently, I would say this has one of the worst impact protections. It's a great looking shoe. It has durable and very good traction. The materials are pretty damn nice. The fit was good, and it's a super supportive shoe. And I would say like most people can play in it. Like if you're a big guy, you need a lot of support, then this is a great option. And if you're a guard and you like to have a very responsive and light shoe, I guess this shoe isn't light, but if you get over the fact that it's a little heavy and a little bulky, you can definitely make it work in this shoe. Yeah, so for 125 bucks, I would say it's a pretty solid performer. Again, if you guys want to cop, I'll try to leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.